Hello, everyone. My name is Gargey Suryadavara, and I'm one of the hosts for the Hilltalker Podcast. Today, we'll be discussing AAU versus high school sports. I am a repeat sophomore at Worcester Academy, and I am on the varsity boys basketball team. I formerly played for the Westboro High School boys basketball team, and I played AAU basketball for 3 years. Today, I am with
Jake Blackburn. I'm a true sophomore. I'm a sophomore at Worcester Academy, and I play for the boys basketball team here. And I've also played AAU basketball since fourth grade.
I'm Timmins. I'm a sophomore at Worcester Academy, and I play for the Worcester Academy soccer varsity team. I played club soccer for 7 years and started playing back when I was in fourth grade.
Okay. So, Connor and Jake, how competitive is AAU compared to high school sports?
I'd say it's pretty similar, to be honest. It depends. Like about a public high school, the competition between public high school and AAU can be better at times, but I think there's also like the highest level of AAU, at least for basketball. It can be really competitive and lots of competition.
I agree with this. And at least at Blackburn and other public high schools I know, the competition is definitely less than even maybe the second top level for club.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys on that. And recruiting wise, is AU more beneficial than high school sports?
I think it also depends on public versus private high school. For a public high school, you're not going to get as much recruiting when you're on a really good AAU team. But I also think you can get recruited when you play for a private or a prep team. But I think AAU, there's also ways to get recruited through AAU when you're a really good team.
It's definitely true because I know a kid from a high school in my town who was an all-state center back, but still is struggling to get into a D3 college, and not even on scholarship, just get interest from the coach.
Yeah, I also knew these I also knew these twins back in my high school who were one of the best high school players in Central Mass, and they weren't very highly recruited, and they weren't looked at even at the lowest level for college. So I definitely think that recruiting is like very.
I think AAU is like a really good way because there's a lot of these tournaments throughout the summer and the spring for basketball where there's tons of coaches that will show up with these huge tournaments. So there's a lot of ways to get looked at through AAU versus a public high school game. It's kind of hard. There's a lot of games.
I think prep school actually has the most recruiting out of all three, and at least for soccer, it's not even close. It goes prep, then club, and then public high school. Prep schools, especially the good ones, often have their head coaches reaching out to college coaches, and you don't really see that in club or public high school.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And the commitment for prep schools are AAU, you really need to you need to really commit and have the time to do both.
Well, it's actually kind of different though, because both seasons have their own perspective. There's public and during a high school, it's during the winter, and then you have AAU during the spring and summer for basketball. And I feel like a high school and any high school, it's more of a commitment than AAU in a way. Because AAU is you can always switch teams. It's really easy to go to different teams. For high school, it's a little different.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jake, on that. And personally, I switched a lot of AAU teams. I played for one team in the spring, and then I switched to a different team in the fall. So I'm used to that, and I feel like a lot of other kids usually do that. Um, at prep school, they usually just stay at the prep school, and sometimes they switch often for AAU slash club because they're looking for the best club um, that best fits in their head.
So, for I think a lot of the why people like hop teams, very especially in AAU, not in prep school. Is mostly because sometimes the coach isn't playing you a lot. I've also seen people who just do not like the system there, and some people just want to go to a better team with a better name. That's sometimes that's just it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So for basketball at least, there's certain levels. I would say there's circuits where you can showcase your talent, and there's independent teams where you go to certain tournaments and you can get recruited at some.
And there's also the factor of money. For AAU, you're paying most of the time to play for these teams, versus high school, you play for free usually. And
I mean, technically you're still playing. You're still paying to go to a prep school.
that's different though. I'm
If you're
saying
talking about public school,
But these clubs are like a business. They
exactly.
they charge you for gear. They charge you for playing on the team. Prep schools, you're paying mostly for the school.
And the
You're not-
education.
you're not
not just the sports usually.
you're not the
You're playing
sports
for
is
free.
yeah you're playing for free, but you're going to the you really only costs to go to the school.
you usually pay a lot to play club sports. So I just wanted to know from your perspective, is AU really worth it?
AU is definitely worth it. AU club, it's definitely worth it. It's an extra season to play. You also get to play against good competition. Say you're at a smaller public school who's not playing against a lower division public school. You're not playing against the greatest competition. You could be the best player in the league and still not get any looks. But if you're at least playing for a good club team, you at least have a chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think it's important. AAU, but it gives you more experience and keeps you kind of going for the rest. If you'll stop playing your high school season, now you have you just go right into AAU and you just keep playing whatever sport you play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So playing style wise, how is it different?
I think, from what I've personally seen, when you play at high school, it's more like a team, you're together. AAU, you play as a team, but it's a lot of individual kind of. It's less of, I don't know how to really explain it, but I just feel for high school it's more of a team, like a team game.
I guess you can make arguments for both being more of a community than the other. At school, you're with them all the time, but depending on the club team, you might be playing with your friends or people you've known for years. Especially if you stayed at that team. And I've known kids who have switched from one team, and then their friends have also followed them. So you could make arguments for both being more or less connected than the other.
And even the coaches, the AAU coaches are probably coaching multiple different teams rather than the high school coaches just coaching that one team. So he puts all of his time and effort into that one team. Versus AAU, he's coaching multiple different teams.
Yeah, and then the AAU coach might also not know fully how everyone's strengths and weaknesses and tendencies, whereas the high school coach knows everything about the entire team because he has had multiple years with the same team.
And you're also probably practicing more out of high school. For AAU, you're probably practicing once or twice a week. versus high school. You're seeing your coach probably every day, your teammates every day, and you're probably practicing every day too.
But I have a question for you guys. So basically, I feel like high school sports is more like set on plays. Like you have to just like play a certain way. So coaches like so you have to play a certain way. You have to play a set of plays.
I mean, there's plays in AAU too. It's not,
Yeah, but you don't often
You mean like a
set
fully
plays.
fleshed out like system
Yeah.
of play?
Yeah.
I think that's actually true, at least for prep school. I mean, I've obviously not gone to like a public high school, so I wouldn't know. Maybe, or like, did they have like at Westboro High? Did they have like a system that they wanted you to play by?
Yeah, they had a set of plays for me to run through, and they had a set of skills.
I mean, there's plays in AAU though. It's not just go out there and play.
I see more plays like individually. I see more plays like freelance or plays that are set up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I still think there's definitely a system and there's plays and when you play for AAU team. It's not just go out there and do whatever you want. Because then it'd just be chaos.
At least in my experience, like during like the club season, during the club season, it's like you're kind of given like a goal. Like I guess like you want to pass it out wide and then come back in, or go up the middle and pass it out wide. But like it's largely like up to the individual to make the right moves and like I guess like create the magic. You know what I mean? Like have them maybe dribble a few players and then score a great goal, rather than in on varsity. It's just it doesn't matter who scores. You pass it out wide. It's quick passes. It's all about the team, not about the individual scorers.
All right, moving on to the next topic, the atmosphere, the environment. How do you guys feel about that? Like, what's the difference?
I think there's a huge difference between AAU versus high school. High school, you have like a full school supporting you. AAU just kind of going around playing these different tournaments, like just 3 games a weekend almost. Versus like high school, it's more significant. Like every game's like a big game almost.
Yeah, it's a lot more intense. Like for like AU club, I really don't see like that big of crowds. It's really just like parents, maybe some college coaches, depending where you are.
Right.
But at like high school, you have the bleachers, you have the student section, you have a lot of people watching you. It's a much more intense environment, and especially because I don't know if your AU leagues have it like playoffs, but like at least high school playoffs seem much more important than the club playoffs to me.
Yeah, I mean when you're playing for your school, you're representing your school, and most times you're representing like your town, and like when you think about all like the pro athletes, you trace them back to their high school. You're not talking about the AAU teams. They played for probably many AAU teams. You think of LeBron or Kobe, you're thinking of their high school and what they did in their high school team rather than all the AAU games they probably played. It just kind of represent your school when you play for in high school.
Like Connor said, the spectators really for AAU are like your parents, maybe the opposing team parents, and the recruiters. And for high school, it's more of your like fans.
And there's also a difference between public and private environment as well. It's kind of public, like thousands of kids, the whole town, like supporting you, cheering you on. Private school, you obviously have fans, but it's nowhere near public school.
I actually disagree with that. At least for like maybe that might be true for like the bigger towns like Newton, Framingham, Needham, but like for most of the towns, it's gonna be about the same. Like from what I've seen, I've gone, and maybe it's different for playoff games. Maybe everyone turns out for playoff games, but at least from what I've seen, it's about even.
I agree with Jake. There's more fans. For public school than private school because usually, like from my experience, I've seen like a whole band section just for the opposing team and a whole fan section just for.
Are you talking about like away, like an away fan section?
Yeah, there was just a fan section for the opposing team, and there was a fan section for the.
The only time I saw that for like
you're kind of talking about soccer though. I think there's a huge difference between soccer and basketball. Like, to be honest, basketball there's gonna be a lot more fans. Just like a kind of a like high school basketball and soccer, not high school basketball and football. Sorry, are like the two biggest sports usually in high school for like fans to go to and support. I'd say so. I don't know what you've seen, but for basketball, there's all like playing in a private league, like private schools. There's fan sections, like, but it's nowhere near. I just don't think how like public high school games. You'll see full school there.
Yeah, but I agree with you like in some aspect. I feel like there's certain games where private schools have more fans than public schools. Like suppose the Brewster Academy game that happened 2 years ago.
That game was packed.
Yeah, it was packed. There's so many spectators to just watch that game, and that's probably like the most I've ever seen.
No, yeah, I mean, I just think in general.
In general, yeah.
Public high school usually have a larger atmosphere.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that too. Let's moving on to the next topic. College recruitment.
But we already did.
So college recruitment from the previous show on Todd's episode. So from what I've learned, the guy Todd interviewed, his name was something Samuel Toole.
Yeah, I think so.
I heard a lot. He apparently went to go to a private school here in Central Mass area and getting a lot of looks.
Yeah, from that episode too, both of them mentioned AAU being one of the biggest ways they are recruiting to play college.
But I thought Samuel Toole, he said private schools have benefited more than AAU.
Well, no, I think he said that he goes to Winchendon, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So he said the Winchendon coach was like helped him with it, but he mainly got the looks from them seeing him at the AAU games. But he said the coach like helped like by emailing them and like helping with that, sending them clips, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was kind of talking about those big tournaments where there are tons of coaches showing up, and that's one of the ways that he got recruited. He's been getting recruited. And the same went for the other person Todd interviewed. I think it was Patrick Freeman, who's playing college for Keene State right now.
Yeah. So regarding Patrick Freeman, so AU also benefited him because I remember
because he went to a public school. He went to a private school. He was talking about how AAU was playing AAU was probably the way he got recruited to play in college.
Yeah, and then the main focus was that in Todd's interview said that making sure that college high school athletes reaching out to college coaches first, rather than just waiting for college coaches to recruit you.
Did he say anything like about like the what happened with AAU? Like, did the coaches email him or like text him saying that, or call him, like saying they were interested, or like, do you remember how they got in touch with him?
I think from what I've listened to, I think he reached out to King State, and King State like kind of like
No, Sam O'Toole, not the.
Sam O'Toole.
Yeah.
So from what I've listened to, I'm guessing he reached out. He also reached out to the coaches. Our coaches looked at him first, and then he reached out to those coaches who watched him play. And I'm guessing they said they were interested in him, and they probably want to move on from, move on to like his application and stuff. And yeah. So I would like to thank Connor Timmins and Jake Blackburn for talking in my podcast. And
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Yeah,
thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Gargey.
Thank you guys. So the people I'm gonna interview, one is a high school. Oh,
Just keep going.
so one of them plays on the varsity girls soccer team at Worcester Academy. And her name is Avery Galante. She's on the FC Stars 05 national team. And then I'll be interviewing Mavrick Rizy also. He's on the varsity boys baseball team at Worcester Academy. Recently committed to UConn, and he's only a sophomore, which is insane.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they have to
Also,
hear what they have to say about this.
I think it will also be interesting seeing from another sports perspective, that being baseball.
I mean, he's already committed, so I'm wondering if he was in contact with UConn through AAU or through here at Worcester.
He can really give us an inside view on how the recruitment really works, and dive deeper into that for our podcast. Yeah. So with that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed listening to this podcast, and I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for listening.
So definitely still really good ball players out there, but it's just limited to New England. So hopefully this year, playing for a new team called 5 Star, hopefully get on the national stage and play the best of the best, see what else is out there.
Yeah. So do you still benefit from playing AAU baseball? Or?
Yeah. So as far as recruitment, college wise, AAU did mostly all my recruiting. My coach, Phil Price, set me up with phone calls with different schools. Schools reached out to him. So I'd say 100% of the recruiting was done by him in Evolution Baseball, and that's where I was able to find my college fit.
So did your high school coach really have nothing like to
He
do
got
with
me
it?
one phone call with Northeastern, but that wasn't really a school I wanted to go to. So not really. It was mostly all AAU. got me all my college looks.
So what's the difference between the play style for AAU and the high school baseball?
So high school baseball, it's you're trying to win a championship with a team. It's not really individual, show yourself off. So it's like a collective effort to be the best, win as a team, win that championship. That's the overall goal. But as far as evolution baseball in AAU, it's more of a like place to show yourself off, get looks, get that college interest, and hopefully commit to a college through like evolution and club baseball.
So individually, you benefited more from AAU than
Yeah,
you did from
100%.
high school.
I started 2020, like end of the year, December 2020. I did a showcase for evolution. That's when all the phone calls started coming in. After that, I think it was up to like 15 schools that I was talking to. So it really all snapped off after that showcase with evolution.
Are there any showcases for high school, or is it just for AAU?
No, as far as like showcases for high school, there's really none. It's just playing games, practicing with the team, and like I said, winning that championship is the goal. But evolution and AAU baseball is where you find the more showcases, stuff like that.
So commitment wise, how committed are you towards AAU baseball and high school baseball?
High school baseball, it's a grind. It's 5 days a week, practices after school. I love it. It's nonstop. So I don't like to not have anything to do. So it's great. Go from school straight to baseball, 3 games a week, Wednesday and doubleheader Saturday. So it's definitely big commitment come school ball. Summer baseball, it's in the summer, but it's still a big commitment. I wouldn't say as much as high school baseball. AAU, it's a couple, like 2 practices a week. We have some big tournaments. We go down to North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. So we'll travel. Those will be the bigger like commitment pieces. But as far as that, you still get to your summer to have fun and stuff like that. So I definitely say high school baseball has a bigger commitment.
So you have 2 practices a week for club baseball. Do you guys have any like skill practices like?
So as
with
far
the
as like
coach?
practices, it's kind of you do your own thing. What you need to do, especially as a pitcher, every pitcher's different. Pitchers build up different. Pitchers warm up different. So my coach does a good job of letting us do our thing and like what makes us feel good, how we get ready for games. As far as high school baseball, in that sense of like practice, like what it looks like, it's really strict. It's what the coach wants you to do. No flexibility. So that's one thing I definitely like more about club baseball is that flexibility to do what you want and like what makes you feel good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Going back to the play style question, are there any like different game plans you guys have like for AAU and high school?
For high school, you see it's a lot in high school baseball, other sports as well. Coaches usually give the games to seniors, juniors. So as a freshman last year, I didn't get many innings. But as far as AAU and club baseball, it's the best plays, no matter the age. But that's one thing I definitely say is different. In high school baseball, they kind of give it to the older upperclassmen, kids that have been there, stuff like that.
That's good. That's good. How is like the environment and like what's the difference competing at a high level? Actually, I'll delete this. Environment wise, which one has more of a fan base, I guess? Like,
so high school baseball, you can't beat it. Especially this year, our team is wicked close. Our chemistry is really good. We all get along. We're gonna be really good this year. We got a lot of high talent on our team. Evolution, you're playing with all your friends, going on hotels, staying in hotels, going on vacation with them, playing baseball, doing what you love. So it's definitely love both of them, but I definitely have to give it to club baseball. Nothing beats that.
would you rather play with kids from your like? Would you rather play high school basketball with all your friends watching you play, or would you rather just play club baseball and you just your parents watching you, kind of.
Definitely, I'm a guy for the fans, so I love when there's a lot of fans, friends watching, people getting crazy. So definitely, when there's fans, but love to have the parents there too.
Yeah, that's good to hear. College recruitment wise, like we were talking about earlier, like I know you committed to UConn as a sophomore, which is crazy. So tell us about your college recruitment and how that.
So yeah, everything's really started beginning of summer last year. Um, some schools came in interested. Then I had a big velo jump. I was when they first started coming out, I was like 86, 85, 86. Then I jumped up to 90, 91. So schools were like, "Whoa, like we need to get on this kid." So after that, things really popped off. Phone calls a lot. So as far as like stress wise, wasn't really much stress because I was so young. I was like, "Why is this all happening so young?" But as I learned through the recruitment process in baseball, it's not like basketball and football where there's every kid gets a full scholarship. There's a set number of scholarships per recruiting class in baseball, and they have to share it amongst the whole team and the whole class. So the I learned that when I was getting recruited, how young I was able to get the most money and the biggest opportunity to get that big scholarship and like not have to worry about student loans, financial aid, and all that stuff. So that was new, but it was kind of crazy making this decision for 4 years after high school when I'm still a freshman in high school and still have 3 more years of high school. So it was definitely stressful in that sense.
That's crazy. You can always like decommit if you want because you have another 3 years. So
Yeah, so it's a verbal commitment. They could drop me, I could drop them. It's a really bad look if I were to drop them because it just shows like for example, like if I have another jump and like I get better, these other bigger schools could come in. If I was like, I think loyalty comes into play there. It's like they were there for you when you were just getting started. Like they put their trust into you. So I feel like that should always stay like that and not jump onto the bigger and better thing that's coming in.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us about the college official visits and like uh just college atmosphere, college baseball atmosphere.
So as far as like visits and stuff like that, they technically can't even have contact with me right now. So it's kind of funny how baseball coaches do it. They get your number through your evolution, my AU coach. They would call me 2 times, hang up both times right away, and that means call them back because they cannot call you. So that was a little interesting. It's different from basketball, and football, other sports like that. So that was a little different. But as far as like official visits and stuff like that, I can't take my official visit until senior year. But you can go on campus. Coaches like do things. I remember I went to BC, and the coach like put things in the door to stop him and leave him open so I can go in and look around. But he couldn't walk me around facilities just because of the age I was. And as far as like the atmosphere of college baseball, my brother committed to Bryan. He's 2 years older than me, but went to his game this past weekend, and it's just insane. The fan bases, the parents, the coaches. It's something I definitely can't wait for.
It was when you said they hung up and then you had to call them back. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, no, it was definitely funny the first couple times that happened.
Mm-hmm. So your AU coaches and your high school coaches, like, do they come with you like to unofficial visits, perhaps?
My high school coach wasn't really involved in my process that much, but my
But would you still give credit to him? Like,
100%. He
Yeah.
developed me. He helped me out as best as he could. My AU coach has so many connections. That's what he does. Like he finds kids that are fit for college. But no, yeah, definitely still give a lot of credit to Coach Mack. He helped me shape me into the man I am today. So definitely got to give credit to him too. Just as far as like college stuff, I definitely say my coach at Evolution did more.
I don't know how AU baseball works, but I know for AU basketball, you have to pay a lot of money just to like compete and play AU. So how does like AU baseball work, and how much is it usually like?
So I'm a pitcher only, and that means I don't hit. So I just pitch, and so that's the pay difference is different because you don't have to pay for like the hitting aspect of that. So just pitching, it was cheaper. but you're paying to get on that stage where college coaches can see you, the national stage. So it definitely costs money, and you're going down to Florida, down to Georgia for the weekend. So all that adds up, and
Is it worth it?
oh,
At
100%.
then?
Yeah, I got to thank my parents for that, investing so much into me. Definitely wouldn't have gotten any of the looks committed if it wasn't for them.
That's good to hear. So, tell us about uh the purpose of each one and why you should do it. Why?
Yeah, so I'd say the purpose of playing AAU baseball is to get better. Obviously, they develop you, play through the summer, and as far as a pitcher, like to get better, you just need to play. You need to face different batters, know how to work them, stuff like that. So that's definitely the purpose of AAU baseball. As far as high school baseball, I play it, have fun, play with all your friends from school. I think playing for your school is and representing your school is definitely a cool thing too. To be putting on that Worcester jersey is an honor. So definitely I'd say that's the good thing about high school baseball.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Mav, on that. Throwing 92 miles per hour is unbelievable as a sophomore too. How do you feel about going to a public school but also playing at a high AU club? Like, what would you say to that?
So like public school,
Like, for example, if I said like a kid goes to a public school, isn't like very highly recruited, but he goes to like a high AAU baseball team, he plays with them.
yeah,
Like, do you think that would still benefit him for like playing for a high AAU baseball team?
100%. Like I said, AAU baseball got me all my looks, mostly all my looks. So as far as colleges, I'd say the biggest advantage of Worcester Academy is definitely the people you surround yourself with. Um, my public school, I had to get out of there. It was just like kids were doing the wrong things. So that's not the path I wanted to go down. I know I wanted to play college baseball at the next level and hopefully the next level after that. So that was definitely the biggest thing for me and I thank my parents every day for sacrificing all they did to get me here. So I definitely say like if you can get to a prep school, get against the best competition out there, get around the good coaches, get around the good people. But like you were asking, if you go to a public school, playing at that high level AAU baseball is definitely still necessary. And like I said, that's where I get mostly all my college looks from.
So, which one gets you ready for college baseball? Which one?
Yeah, so I definitely say the mix of both. But as far as which one gets you more prepared, ready, I definitely say AAU. You're playing 4 to 5 games a weekend. It's that you never know when you're gonna pitch. Like, all right, you're going. Let's go. Get ready. And after talking to my brother, he says that's exactly how college baseball is. He says you don't know when you're going to pitch, but you got to be ready all the time, always on your toes and ready to go whenever he calls your name. So it's definitely AAU is definitely like college baseball more.
From what I'm hearing right now, is AAU is more of a benefit than than a disadvantage. So, do you think AAU is more about the money than the player's development, or?
No, that's the biggest thing with my coach, Coach Phil Price, opening up EBO 4 years ago. His thing was there's a bunch of AAU programs out there just for the money, and he's not like any other program out there. He really cares about each and every kid on his roster, wants them to get to be the best they possibly can be, and it's definitely about the kids and development for him, not the money.
Thank you for coming and telling us your college recruitment and your experience
No, yeah,
both AAU and high school.
no, thank you for having me.
Thank you.